Listen up, because what I'm about to tell you might completely change how you see yourself right now. As you're watching this, you might be a very attractive man. And I don't mean in a casual way. I mean genuinely attractive in ways that make women notice you, that make people gravitate towards you, that make you stand out in rooms without even trying the crazy part. You probably have no idea. See, here's what most guys don't understand about male attractiveness. You think it's all about having a perfect face, perfect body, or perfect style, but that's not how attraction actually works. Real, masculine attractiveness goes way deeper than surface level. It's about how you carry yourself, how you make people feel, how you exist in the world, and most men who possess these qualities completely underestimate their own value. Men aren't told when they're attractive the way women are. Society doesn't hand out compliments to men the same way. So you could be walking around being objectively very attractive and never receive direct confirmation of it. And because of that, you miss all the signs that are happening around you every single day. And if you're watching this video, there's a good chance you've been getting these signs your entire life and completely missing what they actually mean. I'm talking about the way people respond to you, the way women act around you, the way strangers treat you, the opportunities that seem to come easier, the attention you get that you dismiss as normal. These aren't random. These are responses to something real about you. And here's the thing that's going to blow your mind. Truly attractive, men often don't realize they're attractive because the qualities that make them attractive feel normal to them. They don't feel like they're doing anything special. They're just being themselves, and they assume everyone else is experiencing life the same way, but they're not. So let me ask you something, and be honest with yourself as I go through these signs. How many of these resonate with your actual experience? Because if even 3 of these sound familiar, I guarantee you're more attractive than you've been giving yourself credit for. And understanding that changes everything. Sign 1, women get nervous or change their behavior around you. Let me paint you a picture. You walk into a room at work, at a party, at the gym, wherever, and you notice something. Women's behavior shifts when you're around. Maybe they get a little flustered when talking to you. Maybe they touch their hair more. Maybe they laugh a little louder. Maybe they seem to lose their train of thought for a second. You probably think they're just naturally nervous people, right? That this is how they are with everyone, that it has nothing to do with you. Wrong when women consistently change their behavior around you. Specifically when they get nervous, when they seem to try harder, when they act differently with you than they do with other men. That's one of the clearest signs you're very attractive and you're affecting them in ways they can't completely control. But here's what's really happening in their minds. Your presence creates a response. They're aware of you in a way that makes them self-conscious. They want to make a good impression. They're slightly intimidated by you, and their body language and behavior betray all of that. Even when they're trying to play it cool, you see this as just awkward social interaction. Maybe even think they're strange, but what's really happening is that you have an effect on women that most men don't. You create attraction mixed with nervousness, and that combination only happens when someone is dealing with a person they find genuinely attractive. This is happening because you possess something that registers as high value to them. Whether it's your physical presence, your confidence, your energy, or some combination, your attractiveness is obvious to them, even if it's not obvious to you. Pay attention. Next time, are there women who seem perfectly normal around everyone else, but get a little weird around you, who seem to try harder in conversations with you, who appear more aware of themselves when you're present? That's not random. Social anxiety, that's a response to your attractiveness. But here's the really telling detail. Watch how they act. After they get comfortable, once women get past that initial nervousness around attractive men, they often become very engaged, very flirty, very interested. If you notice women who are nervous at first but then don't want conversations with you to end, you're definitely registering as attractive. The psychology behind this is fascinating. When we encounter someone we find very attractive, our nervous system responds. We get a mild stress response that manifests as nervousness, self-consciousness, increased awareness. This is biological, and it's a direct response to perceived high-value sign. 2, you receive attention and opportunities without having to work for them. This one's huge, and most guys who experience it think it's normal. You notice that things seem to come easier to you than to other guys. Maybe people are more willing to help you. Maybe strangers are friendlier. Maybe you get opportunities that others have to fight for. Maybe doors open for you that stay closed for others. You probably think everyone experiences life this way, that this is just how the world works. But let me tell you what's really happening. When you're a very attractive man, people unconsciously want to be around you, want to help you, want to give you opportunities. This is called the halo effect. When people perceive someone as attractive, they unconsciously attribute other positive qualities to that person and treat them better. As a result, here's the psychology behind it. Attractive people receive preferential treatment in almost every area of life. They're more likely to be hired. They're given the benefit of the doubt. They're treated more warmly by strangers, and most of this happens unconsciously. People don't realize they're doing it, But there's another layer here. It's not just about physical appearance when you're attractive as a complete package, when you have presence, confidence, and charisma. People want to be associated with you. They want you in their social circle, their business, their life. Because your value elevates their value, women offer to help you with things without you asking people go out of their way to do favors for you. You get invited to events and opportunities that others don't. Strangers are warmer and more open with you. Bartenders, servers, and retail workers give you better service. The fact that this is happening consistently means you're registering as high value to people, and they're responding to that by treating you better, by giving you access, by making your life easier. This is happening more than you realize. Start paying attention. Do things seem to work out for you more easily than for others? Do people seem unusually helpful or friendly? Do you get opportunities or invitations that seem to come without much effort on your part? If yes, that's not luck. That's people responding to your attractiveness. And here's the critical insight. Most attractive men take this for granted. They think everyone gets treated this way, but they don't. Average or below average men have to work much harder for the same opportunities, the same friendliness, the same access if things come easier to you than to other men around you. Your attractiveness is a major reason why sign 3, you catch people looking at you, then looking away. Here's where it gets really interesting. You're out in public, at a coffee shop, at the store, at a restaurant, and you get that feeling like someone's watching you. You look up and catch someone looking at you, but the moment your eyes meet, they immediately look away. Sometimes it's women, sometimes it's men, sometimes it's just people in general. You probably think you had something on your face, or they were spacing out, or it was just random. But there's something much deeper happening here. When you're a very attractive man, people look at you. They can't help it. Attractive people draw the eye, whether it's your physical appearance, your presence, your energy. Something about you captures attention, and people study you when they think you won't notice. Here's the psychology. Attractive people get looked at significantly more than average people. Our eyes are naturally drawn to beauty, to presence, to anything that stands out. When you catch people looking at you repeatedly across different settings and situations, it's because you stand out. You're visually or energetically compelling that person who was staring at you, who quickly looked away when you noticed they weren't spacing out. They were checking you out. They were studying you. They were admiring something about you, and they got caught. You see this as random coincidence. But what's really happening is that you attract visual attention wherever you go. People notice, you register, you look at you more than they look at average people, and when you catch them, they look away because they don't want you to know they were staring. This is happening because attractive people are interesting to look at, and you're interesting to look at whether it's your face, your body, your style, your presence, your confidence. People are drawn to look at you. Pay attention next time. How often do you catch people looking at you? Does this happen regularly across different environments and situations? Do both men and women do it? If yes, you're not imagining things, you're attractive, and people can't help but look. And here's what makes this sign particularly reliable. It's consistent. Attractive men get looked at constantly everywhere they go. If you're catching people staring multiple times a week in different locations with different people, that's a pattern, and that pattern confirms attractiveness. Reason 4, women find excuses to be near you and initiate contact. This sign is all about patterns, and most men never notice the pattern. You notice that certain women always seem to be around you. They show up where you are, they find reasons to talk to you. They initiate conversations, they ask questions, they create opportunities for interaction. Each individual instance seems random, but when you step back, there's a clear pattern. These women are strategically putting themselves in your orbit. Here's what's really happening when you're a very attractive man. Women will work to be near you. They'll create opportunities to interact. They'll initiate contact because they want access to you. They want your attention. They're hoping proximity will lead to connection. The psychology behind this is fascinating. Women are strategic about pursuing men. They find very attractive, but they do it in ways that seem casual and deniable. They won't directly say, I think you're attractive and I want to date you, but they will consistently create situations where interaction can happen. That woman who always seems to need your help, who asks questions, she probably knows the answers to who shows up in places you frequent, who initiates conversations regularly. She's not just friendly, she's strategically pursuing your attention because she finds you attractive. You see this as just people being nice or friendly, but what's really happening is that your attractiveness is creating pursuit behavior. Women are coming to you, creating reasons to talk to you, working to be noticed by you. And this only happens consistently when a man is genuinely attractive. This is happening because attractive men don't have to chase women. Come to them. Women create opportunities. Women initiate. If you're experiencing this pattern where women seem to find ways to be around you and start conversations with you, that's a major sign of attractiveness. Pay attention to this. Do women initiate conversations with you regularly? Do they find excuses to be near you or interact with you? Do they seem to create opportunities that wouldn't exist otherwise? If yes, you're not just another guy, you're someone they're actively trying to connect with. And here's the telling detail. Attractive men often have multiple women doing this simultaneously. If you have have two or three or more women who all seem to be finding reasons to interact with you, all creating opportunities, all showing interest, that's definitive proof. You're very attractive. Sign 5 people remember you and bring you up in conversations. This one's going to make you think about your social impact. Have people ever told you that someone was asking about you? Have you been brought up in conversations you weren't part of? Do people seem to remember you after brief encounters? Do you get mentioned or referenced more than seems normal? You probably think people just have good memories or it's coincidence, but let me tell you what's really happening when you're a very attractive man. You make an impression, you're memorable, people think about you after meeting you. They bring you up in conversations, they ask about you because you stood out in their minds. Here's the deeper psychology. Attractive people are memorable. Our brains pay more attention to attractive people. We encode more details about them. We think about them more after encounters. If people are consistently remembering, you bringing you up, asking about you, it's because your attractiveness made you memorable. That friend who mentions that someone was asking about you, that person who remembered meeting you months ago and brings up details from that conversation, those coworkers who apparently talk about you when you're not around. This isn't random. This is people being affected by your presence enough that you stay in their minds. You see this as just normal social dynamics, but what's really happening is that you're occupying mental space in people's minds in a way average people don't. Attractive people get thought about, they get discussed, they get remembered because they made an impact. This level of memorability isn't normal friendship behavior. It's what happens when someone stands out, when someone is compelling, when someone is attractive enough that they leave a lasting impression. Most guys miss this completely because they don't hear the conversations that happen when they're not around. But if you get feedback that people ask about you, bring you up, remember you from brief encounters, you're making the kind of impression that only attractive people make. And here's what makes this sign really significant. We remember what matters to us, what's interesting to us, what stands out. If you're consistently memorable to people, including people you barely know, it's because your attractiveness made you significant enough to remember the psychology behind why you don't realize you're attractive. Now that we've covered the 5 signs, you might be wondering if I'm attractive. Why don't I feel attractive? Why don't I know it? Why has no one told me directly? Understanding this psychology will help you recognize that your lack of awareness doesn't mean the attractiveness isn't real. First, men receive far fewer compliments than women. Society doesn't give men regular feedback about their attractiveness, so even very attractive men can go through life never hearing directly that they're good-looking second. When you possess attractive qualities, they feel normal to you. You don't feel like you're doing anything special, you're just being yourself. So you assume everyone experiences life the same way, but they don't. Your normal is actually exceptional. Third, truly confident, attractive men often have a degree of humility that prevents them from recognizing their own value. They're not constantly thinking about themselves or their attractiveness, which ironically is part of what makes them attractive. Fourth, the signs of attractiveness are often subtle enough that you miss them, unless you're specifically looking for patterns. Nervous behavior. Extra attention, people being helpful. These things happen consistently, but not obviously. Here's the key insight. Your lack of awareness about your attractiveness doesn't diminish it. It might actually enhance it. Men who are attractive but don't know. It often come across as more genuine, more approachable, more real, because they're not performing what this means for you and what to do about it. If you're recognizing multiple these signs in your own life, you need to update your self-perception. You're not average, you're not invisible, you're attractive, and understanding that should change how you move through the world. First, start paying attention to how people actually respond to you, not how you think they respond. Notice the patterns, the behaviors, the attention you're receiving. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. If you're attractive, use that knowledge to be more intentional about what you want. If women are already interested, if opportunities are already coming, if people already respond well to you, leverage that. Here's a simple approach. Stop doubting yourself. Stop second guessing. Stop assuming you're not good enough. The evidence is all around you in how people treat you. Respond to you. Remember, you trust that evidence. But here's what you absolutely cannot do. You cannot waste your attractiveness by being passive, by not taking action, by assuming you're not enough. Attractive men who don't realize their value often let opportunities pass because they don't believe they deserve them. Understand that if you possess these signs, you have an advantage. Use it, pursue what you want. Ask out women you're interested in. Take opportunities, be bold because you have more social capital than you realize. Remember, being attractive isn't just about looks. It's about presence, confidence, energy, character. If you're seeing these signs, you possess the complete package, and that's rare and valuable. Final thoughts. If you're seeing three or more of these signs consistently in your life, stop doubting your value. You're a very attractive man. The evidence is everywhere in how people respond to you, treat you. Remember you the fact that you didn't realize, it doesn't make it less true. It might actually make it more true because attractive men who lack arrogance, who don't realize their own value, are often the most genuinely attractive of all. So here's my challenge. Start paying attention to how people actually treat you. Notice the patterns, the behaviors, the responses. Trust what you observe more than what you feel. And remember somewhere right now, there are people who think you're very attractive who are hoping you'll notice them, who are responding to qualities in you that you take for granted. The question is, are you going to keep doubting yourself? Or are you going to finally recognize your value and start living like the attractive man you actually are? Because you are, and it's time you started believing it.